We were talking about the adoption of new tech and how that's quite prevalent in India, as well as like the talent pool being very, very strong. Like even from a global standpoint, a lot of people have got their gaze towards India, especially when it comes to hiring tech talent and things like that. Would you say that like the bridge between Web2 and Web3 is like stronger or being like facilitated more in different ways in India in comparison to other geographies? Or like what's happening specifically in India when it comes to bridging the two worlds?
I think like India definitely has the tech talent pool. I think in other areas we're probably not as strong, and I think it just is like this history, at least in the last 40, 50 years, or slightly more, where there's been a lot of push by governments and by people in general towards like a technical education, and and just given the sheer population and the competitive nature, I think it comes down to lots of people trying to working very hard to kind of get to that level. But I wouldn't necessarily say that there is a very like clear bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. There is on the tech side, but there is like I know the regulations and laws make it very hard for that bridge to exist on, say, the crypto side of things, the cryptocurrency side. And you really can't separate the two. You can't say, like, I'm a Web3 developer, but not have, tried your hand at DeFi or, lending or, trading or get like doing something on a DEX, for example, or, something along those lines. Because I think the not really fundamentally understanding crypto economics and how it can influence your tech product is something that more and more needs to happen, and that doesn't happen in India as much, perhaps because there is not as much exposure. Like there are not enough kids these days there are lots of kids who are actually trying out different sorts of like frameworks and tools and middleware and SDKs and things like that, but not so much, trading, buying cryptocurrencies, those sorts of things. So, yeah.
You already mentioned some drivers of kind of like transitioning from Web 2 to Web 3 out there, whether it be tokenization of RWA and etc. So I'm just wondering, like in your sort of perspective, what would you say are some like the strongest drivers of like creating this transition between Web 2 and Web 3 globally? Are you seeing anything in particular that like is catching your attention? Given you said you had read like a piece this morning or an article, so I'm thinking like, is there anything in particular that?
Yeah, I mean, so we're seeing capital flow into like this, like say, consumer application space, and we're seeing people starting to build a lot of consumer applications on top of fairly mature infrastructure. But it also requires an audience, a set of user base that can easily sort of engage. And this, I think, needs to happen in tandem with all this supposed innovation that's happening, because you could build a very, very useful application, consumer application, but not really end up seeing like the traction that will allow you to like survive and or give you meaningful insights about what you can do next. And that needs to kind of that side of things where it becomes easy for someone to go from, say, for example, a user or a consumer to go from, say, landing page to home page to checkout, right? In Web2 apps, this is optimized to death, where that funnel of users that come to your landing page and then are convinced to like create an account and then consequently browse through your offering and then make an economic commitment by either buying products that you're selling or subscribing to your services or to your content or whatever it may be. That needs to be severely optimized. Like, how do you get people with the least amount of churn and least amount of friction from landing page to home page to checkout? And this is precisely what we are sitting at Arcana and trying to like figure out what's the best way to kind of make this happen. And I think there have been a few developments in this space. One is hiding things like private keys and seed phrases from users, because right now, like maybe 2 years ago, you'd go to a consumer application in the Web3 space and you go to the landing page, you're probably convinced you like this, right? Let me give you an example. So there's this publishing site called Mirror, which is like your Medium or your Substack. It's a pure Web3 based product. You go to the landing page, you see it, and you're convinced, and you like it for the fact that there's no censorship and nothing can be taken down once it is actually posted. And you're like, wow, I want to use this. But your first interaction on the landing page is actually, it says Connect Wallet. And this actually this is a large presumption, because in our little echo chamber of crypto, that assumes that, okay, you know what a wallet is. But I would wager like 99% of internet savvy people, which is a huge number, actually have no clue what a wallet is. So there have been advancements on that side to make that process easy. In fact, we have a product ourselves which replaces the Connect Wallet with, say, login with Gmail, and it creates a wallet for you. So it's just a Gmail account. It's something very familiar. So that gets you from landing page to homepage and allows your user to start interacting with your application and actually start to experience your offering. And yeah, I mean, it starts with these sorts of things. And now the question is, how do you get them from landing page to, so homepage is done, homepage to checkout. How do you do that? Now checkout to like post sales. How do you do that? And then, those sorts of things is where we need to get to. So
like lowering the barrier for entry the whole time, trying to make it as familiar as possible.
Familiar. Of course, we ought to innovate, but at least familiar.
From an interface standpoint and things like that.
Of course. I think nothing sort of beats that. And now the thing is, as an industry, I think we're evolving and maturing to the point where we are saying it's okay to not have these radically idealistic beliefs of things that talk about like decentralization, security, and these sorts of things. All of these are very important, but there is a trade-off to be made, and I think it's important that people realize that there are realistic trade-offs that can be made between this user experience and some of these other things that we've been led to believe that you can't like question or touch.